Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited to talk about the Master Effects EQ from Hell Professional. It's a step up from the EQ from Hell, which came out in 2021, and it was well received, and it's a really great EQ that's really quiet. But the EQ from Hell Professional is the actual reversed engineered PQ3, the green face. I had absolutely no idea what to expect when I plugged this thing in, and I was just surprised how vastly different it is from the EQ from Hell, how much more gain there is. The saturation that's added to the signal is just amazing, and the range and control is just massive. So the first thing I thought I'd do is just hook it all up exactly the same way that Dimebag did for the Cowboys from Hell. And this has never made sense, hooking anything up like this. I've always run the EQ from Hell in the effects loop with the MXR 6-band in the front end, just because there's so much gain just being pushed through the front end, you end up with this clipping mess. So essentially what I've got going on is the Washburn going straight into the MXR 6-band, which is really boosting those mids. It's going then into the EQ from Hell Professional, or PQ3, and then it's going into the Vulgar preamp, which is based on the Randall RG100 that Dime used back in the day. That signal then is just going into the front end of the Boss Katana, where it's not going through the clean channel, it's actually going through an acoustic channel with all the settings on neutral, just to give an absolute sterile clean tone of what these three pedals sound like together. So what I'll do really quickly is just turn off the pedals one at a time, and you can just hear the Vulgar pedal on its own. And that's a loose flabby tone just like the original RGs. And then we'll just kick on the MXR 6-band just to boost some of those mids and tighten it up a little bit. And you can definitely tell that helped get that tone a little bit closer. And now it's the job for the PQ3 to get that whole input gain, push it through the low channel just so you're not boosting things too hot and clipping too many signals. And you can focus on some of those frequencies that you really want to drive and just turn up that gain and add that extra bit of saturation. But here it is with the EQ from Hell Pro engaged. And that tone is just so recognizable as Dimebag. I've never been able to achieve this tone the same way, and I've actually never been able to achieve the tone and make it sound so right, I guess, but I can just play these riffs for days. It's an absolute beast of an EQ, just the way it seems to gel with that whole setup and just make it work and just sounds so cool. But I want to try it now just through the EVH 5150. We'll run it through the effects loop. I'll side by side just with the original EQ from hell. You can just hear the tonal difference. You can just hear how much extra saturation and things is just added. It's a totally different beast. Alright, we're back. So I've just rerouted the whole pedal board just now. So I've got the EQ from hell Professional and the EQ from hell Original, both in the effects loop of the EVH 5150. This is my bassline tone. So I've set both EQs up with dials at noon. I've got the Professional running through the high input this time, and I've just set the two levels just so they're the same. So with the Pro, the level is actually a preamp boost that's before the EQ stages, and you can actually turn that off within the EQ just so it's a clean boost if you wish, just with that switch there. Otherwise the EQ is actually activated and on when you have it switched on. And the preamp level on the Pro is much more powerful than on the original, but right now they're just set up very much the same. So I'll just turn some dials now and just see how they interact with each other. Beautiful sound. I guess it's pretty clear to see that when you try and dial in similar tones to each other, the EQs are actually behaving totally different. But the Pro, to me, it really stands out. Like it's a lot more claustrophobic as a tone, and there's a lot more saturation added to it. Whereas the original just seems to have a really open sort of sound that's a lot more transparent there. So I guess they really are just chalk and cheese through the effects loop. So what I want to do now is just run the Pro through the front end of the 5150 and just see what sort of boost it adds to that tone, just the different saturation that you can get. I think it'll just be really cool. Right, so I've rerouted everything now, so we're just going through the front end of the 5150. There's nothing actually in the effects loop. There's a weird electrical buzz that's just coming through, and I can't for the life of me get rid of it. I think I'm just sitting too close to the amp, but we'll just push through. So this is just the basic raw tone of the amp with no boost engaged. And now I'll just turn on the Pro and we'll see what sort of boost we can get. You can see the overload circuit light just flashing there. Means we're just clipping it a little bit, but it doesn't affect the tone. Let's just push. I'm just driving that level 2 in the front end just to really boost that preamp. That's starting to break up. That's pretty awesome. That, to me, I think we can really just sculpt some awesome Gary Holt sort of tones, but you can just see that the way that you can use this EQ from Hell Pro, just the way it can run awesome through the effects loop or drive it through the front end and really just get like a Dimebag-esque tone on its own. This was just proof, the 5150, like those controls are fairly neutral, nothing's being scooped out there, and that really was like a Dimebag style tone from the Cowboys from Hell. Like, it's just such a cool EQ, it's so diverse. I think the classic PQ3, it's unreal. But that being said, the guys at Master Effects did want me to pass on that they are in the midst of working on the PQ4 edition of this. So essentially it's the same as the PQ3, but you've got an extra bank of mids, so you've got 4 banks instead of the 3. And it's got some different shelving, switching options and things. You can see in the picture there, it looks amazing as well. I'm just so excited to see that. But they are open now for pre-orders if there's interest in the PQ4 now. I think they'll be shipping around maybe the start of June. I didn't get a definitive date, don't hold me to it. I don't know, but the guys at Master Effects are doing an awesome job just keeping Dim's legacy alive. They're bringing back these obsolete pieces of gear in their absolute form, and I think it's just so cool. It's just so exciting that we're doing this these days. Someone's actually doing it. So all that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. The EQ from Hell Professional by Master Effects Audio, it's absolutely insane. Go check them out on the website, have a read, check out the values. There's just so much information they've put up there about this, and there's all links in the description. And as always, take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.